When Steel talks, everybody listens.
And I remember going back to Trinidad after I came out of the army, and I went back to All Stars, and I remember hearing this band coming down to St. Vincent Street, and I knew it was amplified. And I said, oh, this is Highlanders, because I've heard about it, you know. I'd heard the recording. I was in the war at the time. I thought my father had sent me a letter saying, you know, you won't believe what happened there. I'm watching Juve and this steel band, these two steel bands came and they're clashing and the bottles and the cutlass, and I had to run for my life. I said, if it would have left to me, I would lock up all steel band men and turn the key and then throw the key in the sea, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. And I'm in Viet Nam, and I'm in a war zone, and I'm like killing people, you know, and I'm part of this killing machine, and so I don't care anymore. You know, he was very strict, you know, and I says, well, for your information, I used to play pan with All Stars before I came to the United States, and I played up at the Hilton, and I played in the square, in Woodford Square, and you didn't know, and I should be behind bars. Mm-hmm. Based on what you just wrote there. Mm-hmm. And he apologized. And I said, as a matter of fact, if I live here, if I get out of here alive and I come down to Trinidad, I'm going to educate you on pan. And I took him, and I came back, I took him to Queen's Hall, and All Stars was playing a theme, Rhapsody in Blue, and other music, other classical pieces. And he was enamored of this whole thing. He says, wow, I didn't, he says, yeah, forgive me. I had this whole, I didn't know it was like this, you know, and since then, and he came to all the panoramas, and I picked him up after the panorama. He was, if it's one convert that I know in Trinidad, was my father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Les Slater for a moment. Over 20 years ago, you and Les Slater put out a magazine called Pan Magazine, and it was a beautiful, a professional publication. You know, there's very little on the pan scene today, especially in print, that reflects that type of content and professionalism, maybe with the exception of Pan Podium, produced by BAS, the British Association of Bands, their magazine Pan Podium. But really, without Pan Podium, there's nothing else that even approaches the content of Pan Magazine. Why do you think there seems to be a drought, if you will, of even attention to anything related to pan in print and at such a caliber?
First of all, I acknowledge your compliment, because it wasn't easy, you know, getting the funding for it. So there's one word to describe this whole thing, is passion. It was passion. It was the same passion that was forged out of pan, that Leslie and I carried it to that extent. And when we were doing it, we weren't doing it vai-ki-vai, as they say in Trinidad. We were sure that everything was correct. We spent a lot of time on one story.
Dotted I's,
yes,
made sure everything was near perfection.
Yeah, everything had to. You sure this is right? You know that, and we would go back and fact check it, because we are both journalists. We went to school. I was an English major and a creative writing.
At Howard.
Yeah, and so Hunter College, NYU, University of Miami. When I came back from the NAM, I was all messed up. I was a crazy guy, as they say, and I couldn't last more than a semester in college. So I ended up going to like 5 different universities. But anyway, come back to what you were saying. I don't know if they have the passion that we had in those days, and we did. People and Pan Magazine when Steel Talks, when they reprinted, they decided to reprint some of the stories in the magazine. You know, it was just we felt like it was like we had given it was life. You know, we saw the child growing up, you know, into an adult, and now people are being friends with it, you know, and they're right. You know how many emails and
phone calls.
Yeah, people say, man, to this day they would tell me, say, man, 3 people in the last 2 weeks say, listen, I read your story on what was it about? And they tried. Oh, the Winifred Atwell North Star story. Where can I get that music? And they were, people from not in Trinidad. They were from around the world. Where can I get? I said, you can't get it. It's not. It's out of print. And I said, can you? I said, I have my copy, but I just can't do it. But yeah. So when you hear that, when Steel Talks does a service, and it's. I have to compliment you and the people who run Steel Talks. The fact that they're disseminating this whole thing around the world.
Well, I mean, you guys have had a terrific resource, and the kind of detail and professionalism, as we said before, and the perfection that went into those Pan magazines, and the content is as true today as it was before. You can't let that kind of content just be relegated to the past. So therefore, that work has been done. It needs to be brought out, and that's why we'd like to know, do you think it can still be done by the present cadre of people today?
I'm told, as you asked me this question, I've seen a truck outside that says professionals, and they don't have the eyes, just professionals. They didn't have the eyes, so it's, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's that I'm reminding of the people who could do it, probably wouldn't spend 3 days with Booksy Sharp to do a story on Booksy Sharp, which is what I did.
Right.
And that was the one with the cover with is Booksy Sharp the best panist, and they gave you everything from his little kids. Daddy, when are we going to go to the beach? That's how it started, remember? Daddy, Sunday, when are we going to go to the beach? And he's in the middle of arranging for 7 bands. How are you going to answer your daughter this? And then when this carnival is over, they want him outside, and he has to go to England and the United States. And how are you going to do that? And then he's thinking of the next year of Panorama, and he could be in England doing his own thing, but Panorama is has a hold on him. So doing a story on Booksy Sharp, for instance, who would have that time or mindset to spend 3 or 4 days with Booksy? And don't forget, now I had known the story about Booksy from way back when. I think people can do it, but I don't think I don't think they think that it'll be rewarding. I'm not can't speak for them. I can't speak for them, but it wouldn't be rewarding to them financially. Pan magazine. It's such a nice thing to do. Pan magazine. You think it will fly off the shelf.
When Steel talks, everybody listens.